Inside MetLife Stadium, 200 million Brazilians were waiting for the team to finally claim its sixth World Cup star. The path to that goal seemed clear just 10 minutes in, when the referee pointed to the penalty spot. Brazil had their chance to take control of the match before Norway could even settle. But Bruno Guimarães attempted a stutter step technique that failed to fool the keeper. The ball went wide and the scoreboard remained empty. That missed penalty functioned as the first falling domino, halting Brazil's early pressure and providing the opening that their defensive unit would soon fail to fill. As the ball went out of play, the initial aggression from the Brazilian side vanished. Norway immediately recovered from the pressure and launched a blistering counterattack into a Brazilian defense that was caught entirely in transition. Erling Haaland dismantled the Brazilian structure in less than 10 minutes. He capitalized on the sudden lack of organization, scoring twice in rapid succession to put Norway firmly in the lead. While the Brazilian side stood frozen in disbelief, the Norwegian squad celebrated a period of disciplined, efficient execution that had completely silenced the stadium. Facing a 2-goal deficit against a European side playing a disciplined, deep-blocking defense is a tactical death sentence. For a team built on ball possession, the math of the game had turned impossible. On the sideline, manager Carlo Ancelotti began searching for a way through the Norwegian block, but the personnel crisis back on the bench left him with very few options. Rafinha was already out of the rotation, having suffered his 4th debilitating hamstring injury of the year. His absence removed the team's primary outlet on the right wing. Compounding that loss were the absences of Rodrigo and Lucas Paquetá. Without them, the Brazilian midfield lacked the creative engine necessary to connect the defense to the attack. Even the team's veteran talisman, Neymar, was missing. Sidelined by injury, reports surfaced that he was thousands of miles away playing poker while the national team's tournament collapsed. This over-reliance on a few star individuals masked a lack of depth in the roster. When those key players became unavailable, the entire system fell apart. Ancelotti attempted to compensate with a one-dimensional shift, forcing almost every sequence of play down the left wing to Vinicius Jr. This diagram shows how Norway neutralized the strategy. Knowing the ball was always headed to the left touchline, the Norwegian defense simply formed a 3-man cage around the winger, trapping him before he could move inside. The final substitutions offered no relief. Young forwards Endrick and Rayan were brought on late, but both missed crucial chances under the heavy pressure of the knockout round. Physical exhaustion and a tactical map that had become entirely transparent to the opposition were the true executioners of the Brazilian offense. At the final whistle, the devastation was clear on the pitch. Vinicius Jr. collapsed in tears, and soon after he issued a public apology for the team's failure to meet expectations. Back in Brazil, the media reaction was swift. Headlines branded Haaland a comet that had leveled their hopes, while fans on social media began calling for Ancelotti to be replaced by Pep Guardiola. Historically, Brazil reacts to World Cup exits with a systemic purge of the coaching staff, clearing the way for a new manager to attempt a quick fix. But the Brazilian Football Confederation made a shocking, unprecedented decision in the face of the relentless media pressure. Instead of firing Ancelotti, they granted him a contract extension, keeping him in charge through the 2030 World Cup. The Federation is betting on continuity over the usual cycle of turnover. They are choosing to face a long, painful overhaul of the national system, rather than chasing another temporary solution. Securing the 6th star now depends on Brazil abandoning the belief in instant magic to embrace the reality of a slow, systemic rebuild.